Welcome back to the Better Late Than Never Club. I'm Beck.
And I'm Frost.
And today we watch a classic movie. And by that, we mean something at least 40 years old.
Something that you've heard of, maybe you haven't seen. That's why we're in the Better Late Than Never Club.
And probably won some awards.
Hopefully.
Perhaps. In this case, it did, because we are watching Kramer versus Kramer.
Now, other than the giveaway from the name, that it probably has something to do with the legal system, I know literally nothing about this film, other than for the longest time I was under the misconception that it had something to do with Kramer from Seinfeld.
Believe it or not, the name Kramer exists in other entities.
Yeah, well, the 1979 date, pre-Seinfeld, kind of gave it away.
That's fair.
So, because when you suggested it, I was like, oh, isn't that a comedy? And then I was like, no, that's Kramer from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
So now we have entered and ended the list of things Frosty knows about Kramer versus Kramer.
Got it. Well, to be fair, that's about... I didn't know anything about it at all until I started doing research about it. So I'm right there with you in that regard.
Well, go on then. Tell us what's worth knowing.
Well, as you've said, it is a legal drama. So kind of funny to do this on the back of A Few Good Men. But a very different legal drama in that regard. It is 1979. It is starring Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep.
Now, I know who Meryl Streep is. Is Dustin Hoffman, was he in the Hunger Games? Am I getting my wires crossed?
No. What are you thinking of?
Doesn't matter who I'm thinking of. I'm obviously wrong. I know the name Dustin Hoffman. I just can't put a face to that name.
So what would you... I mean, he was Rain Man. Have you seen Rain Man?
Oh, I think I've seen parts of it.
Okay. Have you seen Hook? The Peter Pan one with...
Oh, yeah. But is he Hook?
Sorry, he is Hook.
I was going to say that.
Just he doesn't really look like...
Yeah, he doesn't look like Dustin Hoffman.
Here, let me show you a photo. That's Dustin Hoffman. He was in The Graduate. He was in Meet the Fockers.
Oh, yeah. He looks kind of familiar.
He was in Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
See, part of the challenge is we have significantly different movies that we've seen. I don't know. Does he have a really iconic voice?
No. Not in my opinion. Not that I know of.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I haven't seen him in a whole lot, but it's Dustin Hoffman.
This is cute. He played Roscuro in The Tale of Despereaux.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that. I'm a book purist on Despereaux things.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I know the name Dustin Hoffman. Looking at this IMDb, I don't think I've seen any of these films.
Well, you will soon have seen him in a film. So this movie, like I said, 1979, it is adapted from a book by someone called Avery Corman.
As most films appear to be.
Well, I don't know about most. I'd love to see the stats on that. But it also did quite well at the Oscars, the Academy Awards. I think it was nominated for 7, 9, something like that. It won 5. So it got Best Picture and Best Director, as often go hand in hand. It also had Best Actor for Dustin Hoffman, Best Supporting Actress for Meryl Streep.
Nice. And
Best Screenplay. It was known by a different name back then, but basically Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yeah, right.
Also notable in the Academy Award realm, it had still the youngest ever nomination for an Oscar.
Oh.
So Best Supporting Actor was nominated Justin Henry. He was 8 years old. Huh. I think even younger when the film was filmed. But
8 years old when he was nominated.
He didn't win. But he still holds that record as the youngest ever nominee.
There you go.
Some other tidbits from the Wikipedia. Apparently Hoffman was the only one that they ever really considered for the role. I mean, he did initially turn it down.
Oh, really?
Because he was going through a divorce.
Poor guy.
But so they offered it to a few other people, but they originally thought they wanted him. And then eventually he did agree to it after some conversations.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I suppose if you knew who Dustin Hoffman was and you knew anything about the film, that might make sense to you. But at this point, that means nothing to me.
I'm just giving you some stuff, know, some stuff to mull over while you're watching. It did pretty well. It had a budget of about $8 million, box office at $173 million. So
that's pretty profitable, especially for
pretty good.
79.
it was the highest grossing film of 1979 in the States and Canada.
Yeah, right. And are we looking at, is it drama, like legal drama?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny to look at hearing that it was the highest grossing film. I guess I wasn't that surprised considering it was Best Picture, right? So, it was obviously popular and highly regarded. But I was like, what else was in the top 10 of 1979? Like, what came close? There wasn't anything that really came that close because, like I said, it got over 100 million.
Yeah.
The next highest was like 86 million, which was the Amityville Horror.
Oh, the original.
Yeah. Number 3 was Rocky 2. Number 4 was Apocalypse Now.
Huh.
Number 5 was Star Trek, the motion picture, like the original.
The OG.
Number 6 was Alien.
Ridley Scott's Alien.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because, like, obviously we think Alien's great. It's such a classic, sci-fi horror.
Yeah.
But horror doesn't usually do
well at the box office.
that well. So, I guess it's not that surprising that it's all the way down at 6. And then 7 is the Muppet movie. We need not speak further about 8 through 10, but I just thought that was interesting to know that there was some fairly iconic movies in that year.
I mean, the Star Trek movie and Alien and Kramer versus Kramer all coming out in the same year. That's
Amityville Horror, Rocky 2. It's like, there's a lot there.
There's a lot going on.
Some stories about the set, because that was sort of what struck me the most about reading about the production of this movie, is that there's a lot of rumors / stories about Hoffman and the way he is. He kind of strikes me as one of those actors that gets real method and kind of assholey. Maybe that's just who he is in general.
I mean, he was going through divorce, so...
Yeah, that's not an excuse to be a terrible guy.
I was saying...
Oh, like, that's why he got a divorce. Yeah, sure. So he wasn't very nice to Meryl Streep, apparently, in various ways, and maybe other people as well. He did a lot of, like, improvising and brought a lot of anecdotes of his own life and stuff, apparently, which was actually quite good, apparently. Like, they even offered him, like, partial screenwriter's credit, which he turned down. He was like, no, I'm fine. I'm good, thanks. So... yeah, he apparently he tried to like elicit like a better performance out of Streep by being, and this will become clear, in the movie, by being kind of horrible to her, right? And part of one of the things he apparently did was taunted her with the name of her recently dead fiance.
Oh, Christ.
So... and this is a little tip. This is kind of, look, I'm going off on a little tangent, but it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, huh. So only a few months before they made this movie, a guy called John Cazale, not sure how to say his name, but he played Fredo in the Godfather movies.
Oh, yeah.
Godfather 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And Meryl Streep were dating. And were together for, like, they'd done theatre work together because Meryl Streep was originally a theatre actress.
Yeah.
This movie, Kramer vs. Kramer, is one of the first handful of movies and probably the biggest movie she did first.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, this guy, John Cazale, he got, like, really bad cancer, like lung cancer and all this stuff from, probably systemic amounts of smoking. But either way, he died, and like Meryl Streep was like with him throughout his sickness and death. And so Dustin Hoffman apparently used, like, kind of taunted and prodded her with that kind of emotional thing, apparently, to get a, like, stronger performance, which is just very telling of someone's character.
Yeah. Don't like this Dustin Hoffman character.
Yeah.
Because I think Meryl Streep is a bit of a national treasure. Not for us, obviously, but...
just in general.
Whichever nation she happens to be in at the time.
Yeah. A global treasure, you might say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's some interesting context to go into it with. I don't really have the director who I normally talk about, right, is a guy called Robert Benton. And he is no longer with us. He died last year at the age of 92.
Oh, wow.
Good innings. His directorial list, his filmography, there's nothing else I recognize on there. There's some stuff from the 70s and the 80s, and even something that almost piqued my attention from 1998 called Twilight, but it's not Twilight. It's a totally different movie.
There you go.
Yeah, there's nothing else on there. He was a writer on a 1978 Superman movie, but that's,
It's really interesting because, like, I don't know why I know the name Kramer versus Kramer.
I mean, it won Best Picture.
Right, but it
was put into a list of the best, like, greatest 1,000 movies of all time at one point.
Yeah, it's
like,
probably one of those things that people are like, oh, you have to. It's one of those you have to watch before you die kind of films.
It just comes up, right?
It comes up. But like to know uniquely, like unlike A Few Good Men, where we know the quote, or unlike some other classics where you might know a scene, or you might know a song, or you might know a bit about it, like The Godfather, right?
Sure,
we could all misquote
cultural touch points.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing comes to mind with Kramer versus Kramer.
No, that's true.
Which is really interesting that it still enters this, the zeitgeist of films you must see. And perhaps for that reason, it's in the same sort of category of movies like Mulholland Drive. I didn't know anything about the film, but I knew it was an iconic film. So
I mean, maybe. I don't know if it won't be the same. I don't think it'll be as kind of esoteric as that. The one thing I did write down, which is more relevant for the actual plot of the movie, so maybe is better to talk about afterwards, but this movie was sort of made in a bit of a cultural shift that was occurring in the 70s to do with themes like gender and gender roles and parenting and divorce and all of that.
Yeah, right.
So it was sort of seen as a bit of a it was praised for its modern take.
Like a progressive take?
I guess, yeah. But it was reflecting the shift that was occurring culturally. So I think that's why it stood out in terms of this kind of more fair and balanced approach to these things, which can often become quite gendered. So yeah. Cool. I'm intrigued. I'm keen to see young Meryl Streep because I don't know if I've really ever seen her in a young role.
Well, what is she now? She's in her 70s, and this is 45 odd years ago, 47 years ago.
So this is 79. She's like 77 now.
Yeah, so she'd be like 31 or something.
Yeah, she's 30. So she's not like super duper young, but this is like she only did a few other movies before this. So this is really her in the early days of her film.
You might say during the meteoric rise.
Indeed.
Cool.
Indeed.
One thing, what's the runtime?
I believe we're looking at just under 2 hours. 105 minutes.
105 minutes. That's almost delightful, isn't it?
Just a little amuse-bouche of a movie.
Well, I've got nothing further to say because I don't know literally what to expect.
No, I think we should dive into the legal drama of Kramer versus Kramer.
First, we meet a family, Ted and Joanna Kramer, with their young son, Billy. Joanna, who is deeply unhappy, leaves Ted and relinquishes care of Billy entirely to his father. Ted and Billy must now adjust to their new circumstances. Navigating school drop-offs, tense dinners, and uncomfortable conversations, the duo eventually reach a comfortable routine, though at the detriment of Ted's demanding corporate job. After 15 months, Joanne returns to New York seeking custody of Billy. Entering a legal battle, Ted's lawyer warns him he is unlikely to win against the mother of a young child. As prophesied, Joanna wins custody, but when it comes time to collect Billy from Ted's apartment, she changes her mind, recognizing the damage it would cause Billy to tear him away from the home he has always known. Here's some deeper thoughts on the matter.
You know what was especially noticeable in this film?
The cinematography. Wait, no, the jeans. Wait, the hair. Oh, Dustin Hoffman's very wide smile.
All of those things, but also just how striking Meryl Streep's eyes are, especially when she's been crying.
I mean, she certainly is recognizable. Even face blindness McGee over here in the blue chair recognized Meryl Streep straight away.
Yeah.
Because she looks the same. I mean, like she's
aged.
She's aged.
But
she looks the same.
Definitively her. Yeah,
right.
For sure.
What an icon is all we can say.
When I was looking at the nominations and the Oscars and stuff for this movie, I saw that Meryl Streep was nominated for Best Supporting Actress and Dustin Hoffman for Best Actor. And originally, because I didn't know the plot of this movie, I didn't realize that she wasn't going to be in it for like
most of the film. Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, classic misogyny. She's only getting Best Supporting Actress. But now having seen it, it actually makes a lot of sense because she's only in it.
I guess, did Margaret even get, the actress who played Margaret didn't even get a look in?
She was also nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Okay, there you go. I was going to say, because she had a lot more of a role to play than Meryl Streep's character.
Right. Yeah.
One could almost argue Meryl Streep's character barely, was in there. Because so much of the movie was Billy and Tom.
Ted.
Sorry, Billy and Ted.
Bill and Ted.
I think Billy's friend was called Tom. Because Tom got mentioned. Tom was the one who fought with the dogs.
Sure. Like that one passing scene that I can barely remember.
To be fair, Dustin Hoffman's character goes by Daddy or my
Kramer.
ex-husband or Kramer a lot. So,
He goes by Ted a lot as well, to be fair.
look, sure. I don't believe you.
Anyway, that was a pretty good movie.
It was interesting, wasn't it? There was a lot of moments where there was like a lot of scenes that were really drawn out. But not like in a bad way. What I mean is that first scene where he meets up with Joanne again after their separation.
Yeah.
And she's in the cafe and she's got that glass of wine and we see in the reflection of the mirror him coming into the cafe and like looking around for her and straightening his jacket, and she's looking at him the whole time and we're looking at her and we're seeing what she's seeing in the mirror. That's a really interesting shot.
Right. The
whole
cinematography of that.
The whole movie is like that, I think. Which is quite...
There's several scenes, right, especially between Billy and Ted, where there's these like slice of life scenes.
Yeah.
Like there's the bachelor breakfast scene.
The bachelor breakfast. I think that's probably my favourite scene.
That was pretty fun.
Not a word spoken, 2 minutes, just two blokes in their undergarments, having donuts and milk, reading their comics and newspaper.
Yeah.
Iconic.
And then there's the bedtime reading scene. There's a few other scenes where it's just kind of the two of them living life.
Yeah.
And those were all well done. Like it was very natural, and I think they got across a lot of the natural kind of beats between parent and child, especially this growing relationship. Because obviously at the beginning of the film, they're pretty disconnected.
Yeah.
Because he's been this workaholic type father that, hasn't had much to do with his child who's now like 6.
No family life, yeah.
And so showing that growth was quite natural. I thought they did a good job of showing that over the course of the film, and obviously they're very close at the end.
I mean, they did a lot in the time that they had. And I think you said exactly the right words. They made it very natural. Like, obviously, this is a drama film where the situation is drama. They don't really need to amp it up.
No,
It was all very
it's
natural.
emotionally fraught innately
Yeah.
with custody battle, right?
Sure.
But they did a good job of keeping all of the interactions between all the different people. I really appreciated the relationship between Ted and Margaret, the friendship.
Yeah.
That was kind of unexpected. And I don't know if because, being like male and female friendship is innately rare generally in these kinds of films, like for there not to have been any element of romantic intention from either of them, which was I appreciate. I was really worried that that's where it was going to go at some point.
Yeah. You putting that out loud, because there was that one scene with Phyllis. Like he goes to see Phyllis and she's wearing that cut top and she's like, yes, you can take me to dinner, which immediately becomes dessert. And then she's at his house.
Right.
And then we don't see Phyllis again. But I think the purpose of that scene is to show us that he's not getting his rocks off with Margaret.
No.
Right?
No.
So, but yeah, that was interesting because I did think, because they were being very, very affectionate toward each other.
I mean, they're obviously old friends. Oh, relatively old, not that old, because they've only known each other for like 6 years. But
yeah,
I guess it seems like they've been forged in the fires of, like she obviously broke off her relationship.
Yeah.
They had this whole kind of bonding over splitting up with their partners and then raising children. It's, I thought that was a really interesting. And then, of course, when it came to testifying and that whole thing, I was really worried that it coming out in the court scene that she actually did say you should leave to Joanna, that was going to like ruin her friendship with Ted. Like Ted was going to be like, I can't believe you did this, but like that wasn't the case, because I thought that generally speaking, something I actually quite appreciated is that everyone acted, and when I say acted, I don't mean like as an actor, I mean the behavior of the characters was very believable, and there was very little overreacting.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
As in like
everybody was trying to be polite.
Yeah, and like understanding human emotion. Like Ted obviously is a flawed person in some ways. Like at the beginning of the film, obviously he has neglected Joanna and they clearly just weren't right for each other. Like they probably shouldn't have gotten married and had a kid. Like she needed to explore. She obviously wanted to have a job, all these things.
Or if they did get married and have a kid, like...
There was things that could have been done differently, like he, acknowledges at the end. But he, aside from his fairly dramatic reaction at the restaurant with the glass, that was probably his biggest moment of weakness in terms of, like, that's not okay to be, angry and violent like that. But generally speaking, he was very understanding of everyone, you know what I mean? Like, he was pretty even-keeled and trying to make things work.
But it's interesting, though, because that point of anger is so believable.
Oh, no, of course.
Right? Because he's basically been dumped with all of the extra responsibility and has taken it on, in his eyes, done the best he can.
Right.
And it's cost him
a lot
at work as well as, everything else. So then for her to just, in his eyes, excuse us for being interrupted by the director, what's that, Kiri? Oh, you want to sit on a lap? Okay, well, hopefully you find this up to standard. What do we think, Beck? Does the director find it up to standard?
She's still in inspection mode.
So he has this moment of anger because she's, in his eyes, she's swanned back in.
Right.
And
decided
that she now gets to do this thing.
Be a mother again.
Yeah. And it's like, well, hang on, you don't get to have it both ways.
Yeah.
So.
Something that I saw in the Wikipedia there was a couple of critiques of the legal side of this movie.
Yeah.
One was that the courtroom scenes were a little dated, as in I think just like the way that they ran and like the kind of attitude of the judge and what was allowed and all that was a little dated.
Yeah.
Just fair, I guess. I don't know. I'm not an expert in 70s law.
Well, I mean, it's based on a book and the person who wrote the book might have had...
The other thing that was critiqued is that there was never any exploration of the concept of joint custody.
Yeah.
Which, of course, I guess, I don't know if that's because the book never did, so they, it's not like they veered off the...
Well, I mean, the movie just kind of ends, right? So in the court scene, there is no exploration of joint custody because both applicants, right, both Ted and Joanne, both want full custody.
Yes.
Because each of them sees the other as unfit because...
I think it's less that, and I think it's more that they just want to be there 100% of the time for their kid.
Right.
They don't want to split the time.
Yeah.
They don't want to give up any time with their kid. I think it's...
But then
because I think at the end of the day, they both do believe, and that's what makes it so refreshing, I think, that they both acknowledge that the other person actually does really love and care for the kid.
Yeah.
And is ultimately why Joanna is like...
But effectively, the lawyers are just representing their like, okay, you want 100%, I'll get you 100% no matter the cost.
No, for sure.
And like, I thought the lawyer for Ted was a really interesting character because he was like, this is what it is going to cost. And the next time we do this, Billy's going to be on the stand. He's the one who's going to be paying. Yeah. It was really like...
He's a shitty lawyer, as in like not shitty, like bad. I mean, he did lose, but he's appropriately like, well, it's going to cost you $15,000, which is insane.
Whether we win or lose.
Whether we win it.
$15,000, that's half his salary. That's 6 months of his salary.
It's insane. But then it's like he is being honest about saying like it's going to get rough. Like we have to get rough. That's how it works. Like if you want custody.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, I thought that the cinematography felt very 70s.
Yeah.
But not in a bad way. Just very of the age. Like the fades to black, like the long...
Yeah, the follow along cameras.
Yeah.
My biggest gripe with the film, all the pissing, no flushing, no hands washing.
Very male.
No, excuse you, no. I renounce that. Absolutely unacceptable behaviour. And honestly, he probably should have lost custody. If that had gotten out, the lawyer had been like, Your Honour, is it true?
That you let your child urinate and not flush.
And neither of you wash your hands, and then you immediately go make French toast and get your hands all in the eggs? Disgusting. Disgusting.
I did like that callback at the end with the making of the French toast and the doing it all nicely. And that was... And can we just say... I am not... We said this when we were watching, but we're not surprised that young boy got nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, pretty stellar.
Because he did a damn good job.
Standout job from that kid.
Yeah, Justin Henry, I think his name is.
Yeah.
I'm not looking it up again.
Yeah, you've got a cat and no phone. I understand. So, look, it was really interesting. It's not the kind of film I expected.
Oh, yeah?
So, I mean, like, for context, right, it was, well, I think you said it was like 100 minutes.
105-ish, yeah.
Yeah, just over an hour and a half. We had, the court scene was maybe like the last 20 minutes. And then when it rolled credits at the end there where, Joanna goes up to just see Billy because she decides that maybe Billy stays in that house and, it's left up to the viewer. They live the rest of their lives. I thought there was going to be more. I wasn't ready for it to be over. So
I mean, I kind of get why they ended it there, because ultimately the conclusion of Kramer versus Kramer is that she's decided that she's not going to fight this because she doesn't want to negatively impact Billy.
Yeah.
And that whatever solution they end up coming up, is left ambiguous, but you got to assume that she gets the visitation rather than he does, like they reverse that situation or whatever. But yeah, I think I actually don't mind it that they ended it there. I don't think...
No, I think it's fine.
Yeah,
I just didn't expect it.
Sure, yeah. I feel like movies used to end more like that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it is uncommon these days to have sort of a semi-abrupt ending. It reminds me a little bit of Marty Supreme.
Yeah.
How we were so annoyed at the abruptness of that ending.
That threw me.
But that was worse, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Let me be absolutely clear. This wasn't an abrupt ending and I went, they left so many things unresolved.
Right.
What happens to Phyllis? Like, I don't care.
Give us the Phyllis sequel is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kramer versus Phyllis. But I guess I just didn't expect it to end there.
Sure.
Right? Because I thought there was going to be, I mean,
that's a good sign of a film, right? Like, it's keeping you... locked in, like you're not waiting for it to be over. You're like, oh, wow, that's it.
Yeah, I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
I didn't know our 105 minutes was up, It wasn't the end of the therapy session. Like, and our time's up, so you're going to have to
Speaking of Phyllis, real quick, obviously, if you've seen the movie, dear viewer, you'll know that Phyllis's scenes, she's mostly naked because she has this, little fling with Ted. And she leaves the bedroom to go to the bathroom and runs into little 7-year-old Billy. And I read in the wiki, I kind of knew it was coming because I read in the wiki that actress, I think her name's Jo Beth. Anyway, I might be butchering that. But she was a little worried about doing these because she is nude.
Yeah.
Like, it's not movie magic.
It's full frontal nudity.
In front of a child.
Oh, he was actually in for those scenes?
Yes.
Okay.
And so she was like a bit worried about it, but apparently the kid was unbothered.
Yeah.
Which, like, he's 7, so yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike children these days who are ruined from the internet and everything, he probably legitimately didn't care.
Yeah.
But I do think that you couldn't do that these days.
No.
You would never. For good reason, I think, but it's like...
You would be able to do the scene, but
but he just wouldn't be there to
just
be,
cut
like,
it together.
superimposed. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that's such a 70s thing to have done, this crazy full frontal, anyway.
Look, my because you saw it coming, by the way. As soon as they woke up together, it was like that. No one has thought about what's going to happen here.
No.
All right, the director has finally settled down.
Look, yeah, I enjoyed it. I think that movies that are based on very believable real life situations can kind of go one of two ways for me, right? Because this movie is like this situation, this couple that divorces and has to deal with custody, is like this happens thousands of times.
I mean, you can easily, it's like a cookie cutter for like they get married, they haven't talked about this. There's a breakdown in communication. It leads to a breakdown in the marriage.
Right.
One of the parents leaves. It doesn't honestly even matter really who.
No, that's what I'm saying. But this situation as a whole can be applied to so many people's lives.
Yeah.
So a movie that's covering that scenario can, for me, generally go one of two ways. One, it can go like this one did, where it is, I think, done very faithfully to what is a believable circumstance. And that makes it a good movie because it feels, I mean, it's like any actor's job to make it feel real, right? To make it believable and not like farce, right? And I think they did a good job of that, all the actors.
Well, I'm going to have to immediately disagree. This film is 100% in the realm of fantasy because he went out there and got a job in a single day.
It's 1979. And he had to work hard for that because it was December 22nd. But the other way it can go is like it does feel like everything's dramatized just a little bit too much. And it's like, and obviously there might be some circumstances where that applies, but it really takes it down from like, wow, this can apply to thousands of people's lives to like, okay, there's like 2 people that had this crazy circumstance where everything was turned up to 100. But like, so I'm kind of glad that it wasn't that. It was more of the actual real world.
I mean, there were some really sweet moments where Dustin Hoffman's character is talking to Billy and like where he's explaining about the you're going to have to go live with your mum. And he's not using any vindictive terminology. He's not painting her in a bad light. He's like, you get to go live with mummy. And even better, I get to come visit sometimes.
Yeah, this was so sweet.
It's just like a really positive way. And I guess you hear so many bad stories where people use the kid as a weapon.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, like him being like, both mummy and I really want you to live with us. So we went and talked to the judge, who's really wise, and talked to him for a few days and see what he thought. And like all these very age-appropriate ways of talking about it. And like you said, non-vindictive, which was very nice to see because, Yeah,
you don't want because, these days it's about winning the opinion of the child and making them choose and...
Yeah. And like, I guess that's why with the Wikipedia being like, it was praised for how it sort of handled both Ted and Joanne's perspective as fairly equal.
Yep.
Like it gave both of them, it didn't, you could say it maybe leaned slightly more Ted because we see more of him, but it didn't paint her as this, horrible mother.
Yeah.
It painted her as having, these exigent circumstances that left her with this need to leave. Like she said in the court scene, I felt I had no other option.
Yeah.
And like a good mother, she didn't want to bring her child into this unknown of she didn't know what she was going to do, where she was going to go, what was going to happen. So in all those ways, it actually, was quite fair to both parties. And I thought that was also good because in most circumstances, both parties do have lots going on. You know what I mean? Like there was valid reasons for both of them to be positive or negative.
Look, there was one moment where I thought this was going to turn into a horror film where like he's dropping Billy off at school and then there's just Joanna across the road in the coffee shop window with her hands pressed to the glass like a serial killer.
I wish I could talk to Meryl Streep about that choice. I want to know if that was a personal choice on her behalf or like a directed thing because like it really... I mean, I guess you could read into it as she is pining. Like she's a mother pining for time with her child, but she's like, no, I'm not getting it. But man, it reads psychotic.
It was like Mike Myers, really.
It really was. And it happened twice. And then when he looks back and she's gone, like that's a horror movie.
And then she's behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was pretty... Look, fortunately, it wasn't. And it was a good film.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed Harry Met Sally, which was also had like a lot of feel-good moments. This did not have a lot of feel good in that way,
Yeah, it had some heartwarming moments, some parent-child bonding moments, but I agree. I mean, here's the thing. It is hard to compare the pair because when Harry Met Sally is a rom-com.
Yeah.
Like it's meant to be funny and romantic and
make you feel
light.
good.
And, it's more like highs with small lows. This is like a kind of tension with some highs.
Yeah, and it did capture the tension pretty well.
Yeah.
Because we had very believable family tension the whole time. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I think I'm ready to rate it.
Yeah.
Why don't you go first then?
All right. I rate Kramer versus Kramer a 7.9 job interviews during a Christmas party out of 10.
I'm going to rate Kramer versus Kramer 8. 8 flat. Forbidden scoops of ice cream out of 10.
That was a good scene.
I was actually going to do 8 out of 10 job applications in a single day, but...
apparently that scene with the ice cream and stuff was all
improv?
Kind of improvised, yeah, between the two of them.
Don't you dare. Don't you do it.
That was very good. Apparently, they got along really well, like had a really good working relationship, Dustin Hoffman and the kid.
It's interesting that... Because in the preamble, right, you told me that Dustin Hoffman was like quite nasty to
Meryl Streep
to like help her maybe elucidate some of the feelings.
Well, that's like his reasoning.
I don't know. Maybe he's just a bad dude.
Yeah, look.
I don't know. You just hear about somebody being mean to somebody in the workforce, you're like, I don't know.
Look, but Hollywood's kind of known for that, right? Like method actors who go too far and who believe in anything for the craft of getting the best performance.
Right.
It's like, I don't think Meryl Streep needed any more prompting. Like her partner had just died months before. I think she had enough emotional fodder to go off of to get a good performance going.
Yeah.
But yeah, the scene with the glass in the restaurant, that was unplanned. I don't know if that the one that made it into the movie was like the first
Take of that.
take, or if they like he did it once and then he did it again and she knew about it the second time or whatever. But either way, I think that ultimately well acted, despite personal behaviors on set that we do not condone.
Yeah, I didn't really notice much of a score at all. I mean, I think a lot of the film might have been silent.
Yeah, pretty silent, which I think added to the realism of it. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't.
We don't have a soundtrack.
Yeah. Whereas as opposed to something like Harry Met Sally, which obviously a very different genre, but that has a strong soundtrack, which is like giving it this like romantic story
Nostalgic
undertone.
feel, yeah.
Whereas this was very like, we're just witnessing these people's lives and him like getting through everything.
It is interesting that there are no quotable quotes. There's no movie moments from Kramer versus Kramer. It's
not really.
Like there are some iconic moments, like the bachelor breakfast, or like the,
don't let the bed bugs bite.
Exactly.
See you in the morning light. But I'm pretty sure that existed pre-movie.
Right, but yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not quotable quotes. So there's no "you can't handle the truth" in this.
No.
So.
But again, that's realism for you.
Yeah.
It's like that's just life. Life doesn't have quotable quotes every day.
People should watch this movie. I think it holds up well, which is.
I think so.
Something. I guess that's what makes it a classic, right? It's something that is fairly timeless. Like, obviously, the court scenes and the way those things play out now are different.
Yeah, those have aged, but...
Certainly in this, it's a slice of life. And, nobody gets a job in 24 hours and nobody can live off $30,000 a year, especially in New York.
Yeah.
So, aside from those things, like, the movie holds up pretty well. It's very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. The availability of taxis.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just not even worried about it.
Yeah. So that was our classic, which means next week is our scary.
I'm excited. I have no idea what we're going to do.
Well, we are entering spooky season, so it will be appropriate. Let us know if you have any classic, scary, funny, serious. Those are our categories.
I mean, they're really loose categories.
They're very loose, loosey-goosey. Anything can fit into a category if you shove it hard enough. Let us know if there's a movie you would like us to watch and hear our thoughts on. If you've seen Kramer versus Kramer, let us know what you thought of it. You can catch us on various social medias and the podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. It's the Better Late Than Never Club. Meeting adjourned.
Till next time.
This episode of the Better Late Than Never Club is brought to you by our patrons: Alex, Christopher, Lindy, Matthew, Nathan, and Rachel.
And also our members: Aimless, Andrew, Elizabeth, Raina, Salty Pond, and Simon.
Thank you for listening.